wealth to protect and save and develop this community. May Allah reward you immensely. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that volunteering is something done only when I have time. When I have time, I will volunteer. This is wrong. This is a misconception of volunteering. The true volunteering that you will be rewarded for is the volunteering that you made a priority in your life. This is my masjid, this is my community. Then volunteering in that masjid is a priority. Because when you make it as something, when I have time, the value and the weight of that volunteering is diminished. It's like, it's okay, it's for free anyway. No, when you make it as a priority, and you feel that this is a must, this is a need, I have to do this. If I don't do it, if everybody say, you know what, khalas, somebody else is doing it, then we have a problem. So we have to feel that there is a need for volunteering. Now, while we're volunteering, and this is what my talk will be about, we have to keep in mind a few things. Number one, before you come to the volunteering, my sister, my beloved brother, keep in mind that why are you doing it? The question has to be, the first question is why? Why are you doing it? To show off in the community? To people say, oh, mashallah, he's always here? Why are you doing it? You have to always think that I'm doing it only for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm only doing it for His pleasure. This is His house. If I see that my house needs cleaning, needs help organizing, I would rush and do it. How about the house of Allah that gave me everything? So number one, you have to know that you're doing it only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When that is established, then you have to remember the second point, which is anything you do for the sake of Allah, especially in public, you will get some harm. That's normal. This is the way of the prophets. This is the way of everybody calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you go in the path of Allah, you will get some obstacles. So what should we do? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that al-mu'min alladhi yukhalit an-nas, the mu'min that mix with others and bear their adha, their harm, is better than the mu'min who sits alone and yalla khalas, I am alone, I'm okay, I don't care about what's going on. No, the one who mixes with the people and take their harm is better than the mu'min who does not care and does not do anything. That's number one, that we are doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and through that there will be some harm. And when there is some harm, and what I mean by harm, for example, some sister might look at you in a dirty look, might say some words that bother you. Similarly, brother, when you tell someone to park here, he might not listen to you. He might, Allahu A'lam, might even reach to the point that might say bad words to you. Just be extremely patient and remember why you're doing that. I'm doing it for the cause of Allah. When somebody curse you or do something to you, what do? Jazakallah khair, brother. Barakallah feek. May Allah reward you. Wallahi, you kill him. When you do that, you kill her. You shatter them. This is the way it's supposed to be, especially in the month of Ramadan. Be extremely patient, and always, always have a beautiful smile on your face. Always. At the end of the day, this is your brother. This is your sister that you are serving. You're helping. Some of us will be even sacrificing their taraweeh to serve others. Allahu Akbar. You don't know how much I appreciate when I see my brothers outside standing, Brother Ahmed and Brother Sultan and Brother, I saw them all last year, mashallah, Brother, what's his name, the leader of the group, Kashif, all the brothers, mashallah, standing outside while we are enjoying the recitation, and they're sitting there, sweating sometimes it's raining on them. Allahu Akbar. For what? They could be inside and say, khalas, somebody else is doing it. So alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, be patient. And always, when you are about to give up or get upset, remember, for Allah, anything can become easy. So be patient, have a smiling face. And I will give you some two examples. There's many examples in our deen about the importance of volunteering. I will give you one from the Kitab and one from the Sunnah, as usual, inshallah. From the Quran, subhanallah, there was a beautiful volunteer done by Musa alayhi salam. What was that volunteer? Anybody knows? Other than the Imam? Excellent, mashallah. When he volunteered to help the two sisters bring the water for their sheep, right? He went to volunteer. He saw them, there is, sisters and a lot of men, and they were waiting. Wa abuna shaykhun kabir, and our father is an old man. So he volunteered, and he went, and he did everything. And then when he finished, he didn't say, what's up, what's going on, sisters? No, he just finished, and he left and sat down under the tree, and he made a beautiful dua. Who remember that dua? Rabbi, inni, lima, anzaltu, ilayya, min khayrin, faqir. Subhanallah. And when he went, and this is another thing that we should do, inshallah, after you finish volunteering, make a dua. This is what Musa did. And what happened, alayhi salam? What happened? Subhanallah, he was no home, no job, no nothing, no wife. He got a home, he got a 10-year contract, and he got a wife to choose between two. Allahu Akbar. Just after he finished doing a great amal, he sat down and made his beautiful dua. So this is a volunteering from the kitab. From the sunnah, there's a beautiful story, and we all know it. But probably we never thought about it from a volunteering perspective. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a guest came to him. And Rasulullah sallallahu subhanallah, he went to the first house, to the first wife, and he asked, do we have anything? He said, Ya Rasulullah, all we have is water. Second house, do you have anything? We have a guest. Ya Rasulullah, we only have water. Anyway, long story short, he went to every house, every wife, and asked the same question, and they all answered, all we have water. The best man ever created, subhanallah. All he has in his house was water. That's it. So he taught us to take care of the guest. So he asked the Sahaba, who would take care of this guest? Here the volunteering comes. One of the Sahaba raised his hand. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I'll take care of him. I'll feed him and give him a shelter for a night. So he went to his wife and told her, what do we have? She said, all we have left is the food for the children. He said, put them to sleep without food. We have to give the guest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And can you imagine? They do not put Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam before them. They put the guest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam before them and their children. How about Rasulullah? Allahu Akbar. So put them to sleep. They had an oil lamp. They turned it off. And then in front of the guest, they pretended chewing. They're not eating anything to make sure that the guest is eating. Subhanallah. He finished eating. He does not know how much food is there. It's too dark. He does not know if they're eating or not. Subhanallah. When they finished, and in the morning he's going to pray Fajr, the man, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, looked at him and smiled and said, Inna Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so pleased from what you have done. Can you imagine? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Jibreel to tell Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam what this couple have done. Allahu Akbar. Now look what a noble cause, what a noble thing that they have done. And this was just a volunteer. They volunteered. So inshallah ta'ala, I don't want to take long. I want to give my imam the chance to give you some more points, inshallah ta'ala. So please, do the things sincerely for Allah's sake. Be extremely patient. Smile all the time. And remember that everything in Ramadan is multiplied. You gave up that time of prayer just to be outside or be inside serving and making sure that everyone is organized. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replace it many, many folds. And last thing is, please, remember that these people you're talking to, talk to them with respect. When you tell them to stand in line, don't talk to them like, these are your sisters, your mothers, your daughters. Talk to them with respect. Same thing with the brothers. Always, talk to them gently, because Allah told us, subhanahu wa ta'ala, هَلْ جَزَاءَ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ. When you talk gently, the people respond to you gently, kindly. Even if you're asking them to park here, to do this, to do that, please stop doing this. Always be courteous and very gentle. Jazakumullah khair. Imam Nadim.
Jazakumullah khair, Ustad, for the great words. By the way, I just want to remind all the brothers that just because you volunteer, you're not going to get another wife. So just want to make sure that's clear. Okay, so just basically with the same train of thought as Ustad was talking about, I wanted you all to think about this. As people come in to the masjid, they look at, some people, they're going to come, they will appreciate you for what you're doing. Some people will come in and they will approach you and they will look at you as if you feel like that you are in a position of authority. And they will approach you in that way, and they may try to be rude with you. They might try to be abrupt with you. And what we learn in the Quran is that idfa' billati hiya ahsan. فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. Whenever someone treats you in a very wrong way, repel the wrong with something good. As the Ustad was saying, that someone might be disrespectful to you, but just smile back and be gentle. If someone is abrupt with you and you act back in the same way, then there is no difference between that person and you. So you have to always be gentle. For those of you who are volunteering, you have to understand that when you talk about patience, you all need to have the highest level of patience of anyone. Okay? Do not expect people to come and respect you. Do not expect people to come and just appreciate you. Because people, they will not look at the good that you're doing. What people look at very quickly is that the wrong that you have done. They look at the wrong that you have done. So let's just say 10 days go by and there's not a single problem. But then one time something happens, someone will complain that this sister does such and such. This brother, he talked to me back in this way. So that's why it's very important that we need to have the highest level of patience, number one. Number two is that try to treat the people as if you are a parent. You know, when you're at home and your kids get into a fight, you as a parent, understanding very well how they understand, you step in the middle and you resolve the issue between the two children. These people who are coming as a figure of speech, they are your babies. You understand? They are your children. All the people who will be coming in Ramadan, they are your children. Now, if your child, even at home, they try to treat you with disrespect, proper parenting says that you sit down with that child and you gently talk to that child back that why are you behaving in this way? When people come here to the masjid, believe it or not, after 20 rak'ahs, after I come outside, there's so many people saying, this brother did this, and this sister, she replied to me this way, and she responded to me this way, and this brother, he yelled back at me. First of all is that we will, as a masjid and as an organization, we will make sure that we listen to both sides of the story. Because there's always a story of the volunteer, and there's a story of the one who's coming to the masjid. So we will not start pointing fingers at who's right and who's wrong. But for the volunteers, you have to understand that things like this are going to happen. None of us are perfect. But you have to always step in as a parent in every single situation. Now, I know that in the past, we have been in the other facility. This is our first time that we are beginning Ramadan here in this facility. Okay? We are beginning Ramadan here in this facility. I want you to think. I really want you to think. Because, see, I can stand here and say a few words. Ustad stood here, he said a few words. But I want you to think of some scenarios. Okay? I'm giving you this responsibility right now. I want you to think of some scenarios that what could possibly happen, or some scenarios that took place in the past. Okay? There are a lot of you who have volunteered in the past. Even amongst the brothers, you have volunteered in the past. Share with us or mention something that happened in the past so that we can share that with everyone. Is there any experience that you have been through, any one of you, that now you look back at it and you say that, you know what, I could have dealt with it in a different way? What's the proper way of dealing with it? Anyone? Any situation that you have been through? Yes, sister, go ahead. Okay, so the example the sister is giving is that it's time for iftar, and a sister comes and she takes several boxes. Now, that could happen amongst the brothers or the sisters. What is the right way of dealing with that? If a sister comes and she wants to take 5 boxes, what is honestly the right way of dealing with that? Anyone? Yes, Brother Ahmed. Give it to them? And what if they argue back? I mean, what if the volunteer does not want to give? You don't want to cause a scene, okay? Okay, so one way of dealing with it is that either you give it to them, or the second way of dealing with it is just talk to the sister. See, one of the things that we lack in our Muslim communities is communication. We really lack communication. A sister is taking it, we will have assumptions about her. We stop her, not knowing her full story, then there's a problem between me and that sister. So what I would say is that just try to talk to the sister and ask her why, who is it for, and the better thing is that you try to get everyone seated and then give it to them. But if someone comes that they have a dire need, then trying to understand their situation, you move along. Yes? You were saying something else? So what I would say this, there's going to be a group of sisters amongst yourselves, right? Who are going to be in charge. There's going to be one person, Brother Munawar, you're going to be in charge of the food and all that, right? So always try to make sure that you consult with others. Always consult with others. Sometimes taking matters into your own hand can fire back on you. So that's why there's always someone to trust and there's someone to consult with. Our deen teaches us also that when it comes to these kind of matters, consult with others and Allah will put khair in that. So in a situation like that, instead of taking matters into your own hand, try to consult with others and see what's the best thing and then you move on. Something else that I have seen, a lot of times you will see this, sisters will come and they will sit, or even brothers will come and they will sit in the main prayer hall. And they have children and their children are making noise. So what's the best way of dealing with that? What's the best way of dealing with that? Now some people, they're going to come up and they'll make a mass announcement. Okay, they'll make a massive announcement, and that sister or that brother, they get embarrassed. They get embarrassed. The best way to deal with that is what? What do you think is the best way of dealing with that situation? Huh? So simply just go to that person and just talk to that person gently. Talk to that person gently. See, one thing that I tell you what I do is, if a person's cell phone rings in salat, after that salat, I never make an announcement. You know why? Because it's that one person whose cell phone is ringing, but that person gets embarrassed. When you make an announcement and that sister knows, that brother knows that my child is sitting next to me, and he might be making noise, or she might be making noise, and a brother or sister gets up and they make a mass announcement, that brother and sister gets embarrassed. You don't ever want to put anyone in that kind of situation. We want to make the masjid an inviting environment, not a repelling environment. Not an environment that we embarrass others. Because there are people who come to the masjid, and there will be people here in our community who are coming to the masjid for the very first time. And if they are embarrassed, they will never come back. Let me tell you a story, what happened here. It didn't happen here. It happened somewhere else in America. There was a program that was taking place in the community. A brother was married to a non-Muslim sister. He kept on convincing her that why don't you come to this program to the masjid? She kept on saying no, no, no. Finally, she gave in. It was a program regarding Hajj. The masjid they did not have a very big Islamic center in that city, so they had to rent out an auditorium. So they rented an auditorium and they made everyone take a seat over there. All the way on the ground floor, close to the stage, there was no one sitting over there. As you know, in an auditorium, everyone likes to sit on the higher seats. So the front seats were empty and they were vacant. This brother came along with his sisters. Brothers were sitting on one side, sisters were sitting on one side. This brother, he came and he sat down. He saw that all the seats were vacant. He sat down with his wife and he sat down with his children. Someone came and said to the sister, that sister, can't you not see that all the sisters are sitting on one side? Please sit on the other side. So she just ignored it. She's not a Muslim. She doesn't understand these kind of things. She simply ignored the instructions and she continued to remain seated. Someone else came and told the sister that, sister, you are requested to please move. Now, this happened the third time. The third time someone came to her, it was a brother who came and said to her, sister, you were asked repeatedly, please move on the side. This sister, you know what she did? She got up, she told her husband, let's leave, and I don't want to ever come back. The husband, he was on his way out, and he got hold of one of the volunteers. And he told one of the volunteers that it took me 5 years just to mentally prep my wife to come to one program that is associated with our Islamic center, and now I don't know if I can ever convince her again. When people come to the masjid and they are treated with disrespect, then we might be closing the doors for them for eternity. Every single step that we do, every single step that we take, every instruction that we give out, every time we deal with someone, we have to be very cautious about it. We have to be extremely cautious about it. Just because I have been coming here to the masjid, just because I have volunteered in the past, just because I have a name here in this masjid, it doesn't mean that I can treat anyone in any way. People are going to come here. They're going to look at our akhlaq. They're going to look at our akhlaq. The volunteers, you are under the microscope. Don't expect anything from anyone else. You know, when we have expectations, that's where we get disappointed. We believe that this sister came in, this brother came in, they're going to treat me with respect. There's expectations, don't have any expectations. Don't have any expectations. When someone is doing something wrong, go to that sister gently, go to that brother gently, and just talk to them. That is the best way. If that sister or brother is not understanding, then I'm sure that there is a group lead. Talk to that group lead. But everyone needs to remain calm. Everyone needs to remain calm. You know, in alhamdulillah, we have the badges over here. You'll be given a badge. Everyone knows that this person is one of the volunteers. And every person, while you are there, while you are even giving instructions, try to give instructions in the best way possible. With kind words. With kind words. So, we cannot go through every single scenario right now here. We cannot go through every single scenario, but there will be a lot of scenarios that will come up. And I'm not trying to be judgmental here. Most of them happen on the sister side, okay? For the brothers, it happens outside in the parking lot, okay? For the sisters, it happens inside the masjid, okay? So let's try to understand every situation. Analyze every single situation separately. Try to be the best parent that you can. Try to treat these people who are coming here like your children. If two people are getting into a conflict, try to get in the middle, not taking any sides. Not taking any sides. You're getting involved sincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to resolve the conflict. If something's happening outside, then keep it within the few people. If something's happening upstairs among the sisters, keep it within the few sisters. If there's a sister who might get upset, she's raising her voice, no need to raise your voice back. Take her outside, gently talk to her. What's the problem? Wallahi, I tell you, if we have in our community, if we can communicate effectively, I guarantee you 90% of our problems will be solved. We don't know how to communicate. We communicate well at work. We will communicate well in other places, but when it comes to the masjid, all communication skills are left at the door. So we need to learn how to communicate very well and very effectively. Yet at times, there's still going to be some problems. What you do is always refer to someone else. Always consult with someone else. But please, we have to understand what it takes to be a great volunteer. The Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum, they were the greatest volunteers. They were the ones who helped Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We want to help our masjid to take the next step forward. Yes, we all do. But it starts from us. It starts from all of us. If you have patience, I guarantee you have most of what it takes to be a volunteer. You need patience, you need sincerity and ikhlas, you need conflict resolution skills, you need to have the skills to talk to a person in a very gentle way. These people who are coming here to the masjid, they want to be respected. If you respect them, I guarantee you they will respect you too. They will respect you. If they come off in a disrespectful way, you respect them. This is what we learn from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wahsin ila man asa ilayk. Be good to those who are doing wrong to you too. Never become like them. The minute we become like them, then that is where it's a slippery slope. That's where the decline starts. Last year I remember some sisters were going here, some sisters were going there. Some sisters were, people were coming out of the sisters' area and they were complaining about that there are a lot of brothers standing over there. Alhamdulillah, this year we don't have that problem. Sisters have a separate section. There might be some sisters in the shoe area. Believe it or not, we are putting stickers on the floor that don't put your shoes on the floor. Yet you will find some brothers and sisters who will come and still put their shoes on the floor. Assalamu alaikum, my brother. Assalamu alaikum, my sister. If you don't mind, can you please put your shoes on the rack? Why? Why? How do you answer that why? How do you answer why? I remember there was call security. I don't think so. That's going to help. There was, yes, you have a suggestion? Is this Allahu Akbar? Doing it. Why do I have to do it? Because this is Allah's home. Subhanallah. That's the best answer, honestly. Because it's the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Would you like anyone to come to your home and just put their shoes anywhere? Or would you like them to put them on the side, outside the home? That is why, wallahi, that is the best answer. That is the best answer. So yes. Yes, just try, see, once again, there might be a brother or sister who says, why? Now, instead of saying that, why? Should I tell you why? Huh? Don't you understand? That's not the way. Gently explain them. You know, one masjid, you know what they did? All the people who put their shoes on the floor, they would take them and put them on the rack. When the person could not find them, the brother would take them to the rack and say, here are your shoes. A message is sent to that brother or sister that next time you put your shoes on the rack. You get the message across and you apply hikmah. It's the best of both worlds. So, in every single situation, try to apply hikmah. On the very first day of Ramadan, it's going to be chaotic here. It's going to be really chaotic here. Upstairs is going to be chaotic. Brothers here, sisters there. Even upstairs, where do the children go? Just remain calm. If the people in the community will see that the volunteers are calm, they will be calm. If they see that the volunteers are chaotic and they're not organized, then they will become chaotic too. Just remain calm. Allahul Musta'an. Inshallah, Allah will help. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. Consult with one another. Reach out to one another. Communicate effectively with one another. And I guarantee you, even on the first day of Ramadan, things will go very smoothly, inshallah. Now, this year, finally, I'll say this, and I'll give it to Brother Samir. He has these pins. We want to make sure that every single year, the Ramadan is better than the previous Ramadan. This year, Ramadan, we are going to have some ups and downs. But next year, inshallah, if Allah gives us life and we witness another month of Ramadan, we're going to make sure that those problems are not repeated again. Now, it doesn't mean that if there's a problem happening on the first day, we cannot fix it. Yes, we will try to fix it. We won't let that problem linger throughout the month of Ramadan. We will try to fix it. But yet, at the end of the day, there are going to be some problems that will persist throughout the entire Ramadan. What we do is that next year, inshallah, we will try to make sure that the next year is better than this year. This year, inshallah, we are focusing on making this Ramadan better than the previous Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us a big masjid. We don't have the entrance issue anymore. Okay, a lot of things are solved because of that. But there's still going to be some other challenges because we are in a big masjid too. So there's going to be some other set of challenges. But we remain calm. Remain focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as we're doing for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the help of Allah will be with us. The help of Allah will be with us. The minute we feel like that, you know what, I'm so talented, I can do this. This is a walk in the park. This is a piece of cake. Then the minute we feel like that we are the ones who are doing it, Allah will take away His help. That Allah will take away His help. Just like the Sahaba, radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, in the battle of Hunayn. The minute they thought that the battle of Hunayn will be a piece of cake, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He took away His power. Allah took away His power. So this is, this is something that comes with sincerity. Inshallah, I'll wrap up on this. Keep this, whatever Ustad said, whatever I said, try to keep that in mind, inshallah. I'll give it to Brother Samir, inshallah. How can I help you? That's better. Okay, so inshallah, everyone will get this. Just write your name on it, inshallah. This is the brother or sister? This is, make sure the sisters get a sister, because this one says brother. And the sisters, those are sisters? The sisters, this is for you. Yeah, just the ones who are sitting here, please. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Put the name in English, please. Because someone's going to try to read that name, and some people might take their time to read that name. They may know the Arabic language, but they may not be able to read your handwriting. These are donated? Oh, mashallah. Huh? So please make dua for the person who donated all these pins. One more thing I want to share with you all. Amongst the brothers and amongst the sisters, you're going to have a group of volunteers. If you have, or even amongst the brothers, you're going to have a group of volunteers, you're working as a team. It doesn't matter who it is. If there is a disagreement, please listen very carefully. If there's a disagreement, do not disagree and start getting into a quarrel in front of the other people. If there's a disagreement, take it to the side, discuss, try to come to a middle ground or try to come to an understanding, and then you present yourself before the people. Because if the people see that that there's a group of brothers, there's 10 brothers and 5 of them on one side and the 5 on the other side, then you're going to start dividing the brothers. Likewise amongst sisters. There are going to be some sisters who say, I take the side of this sister. Some sisters are going to say, I take the side of this sister. You're all one team. You're one entity. You're one body. You understand? You're one body. So if there's a disagreement, look, we're human beings. We're going to disagree with each other, no doubt. But take it to the side, resolve your disagreement there, and then you come together. If the community sees that you are disagreeing, but then you come back and you're both on the same page, that makes you stronger. That makes you stronger. It shows that these people are serious and they're working together. So do keep that in mind. Can I get... Say again? I'll leave that to you, Dr. Sahib. Can I get the bag, the rest of the pins? Yeah, I know, inshallah. We'll get it. Don't worry, I have this bag in my hand. Can you give this to...